Now, back in 1999, when Wi-Fi was first introduced into our homes, it forever changed the way that we would all be using the internet. Now, fast forward 21 years later, we are now at the dawn of our latest Wi-Fi standard, which is Wi-Fi 6. Now, what is Wi-Fi 6 and why is it such a big deal? Let's find out. So, what is Wi-Fi 6? Now, Wi-Fi 6 is the latest standard of Wi-Fi. But not just that, it also sets a new standard in terms of the naming convention and how all the Wi-Fi standards are going to be named. Now, Wi-Fi 6, a lot of you might be asking, like, what happened to Wi-Fi 1 to 5? Now, they've always been there, it's just that the name has changed. So, Wi-Fi 5 would have been wireless AC, as you know. Wi-Fi 4 would have been wireless N, all the way down to wireless A, and wireless B would be wireless 1 and 2 respectively. So what is the Wi-Fi Alliance? The Wi-Fi Alliance is basically a sort of a non-profit organization that has control over the Wi-Fi standards. They set the certification, they set the regulations, and also they work on the improvements. Now, according to a lot of industry experts as well as the Wi-Fi Alliance, Wi-Fi 6 has the potential to be about 40%, 40% faster than Wi-Fi 5, which is an incredible jump from a previous standard, right? And yeah, so it's, even though Wi-Fi 6, or at least in my opinion, it feels like it's not just, the focus of Wi-Fi 6 has not just been about maximum speed or getting better speed. It's focused on a lot of other things like efficiency and all that, which we're going to go through. But even without that being the focus, a 40% jump is incredible. So like I said, it isn't just about getting faster speed. It's a lot more than that. A lot more other improvements that are made to give you an overall better experience and better speed, right? The other thing is MU-MIMO. Now, some of you might have heard of MIMO before, and that was sort of a thing that was introduced in previous standards. Well, this one is MU-MIMO. So what is the MU-MIMO? MU stands for multiple user, and then MIMO is multiple input, multiple output. It is ridiculous, and I have it here. Yes, multi-user, multiple input, multiple output. And this is not the longest term. You're going to be others here. It's ridiculous, but anyway, yeah. So because now you got the MU-MIMO, so the previous standard of MIMO is now called SU-MIMO, which is single user. Okay. Now a lot of these terms can get really technical, and I could go on and on forever about this, but I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible to give you a basic understanding of what they do and how they can improve your Wi-Fi experience. Now, so basically MU-MIMO. Now, to go back to original MIMO, how routers usually work is that they would connect or communicate with a single device before connecting with another device, and then another device, and then another device. So MIMO came in to better handle, make it more efficient the way it communicates with a device, but it was still single user, okay? So if, let's say, you were the only one at home, you get an excellent experience. Now, how many of you only have one device connected to your router at home? I mean, nowadays, for example, if you got your standard family in Singapore, you've got your parents, you maybe got 2 kids. Now, there might be a situation where all 4 of these people have a phone. All 4 of these people might have a laptop. You might have a TV or smart TV, an Android device. You might have smart home products. You might have as much as 20 or more devices simultaneously connected to your router. And even in my home, I mean, it's just me and my wife here, but I have a PC, I have 2 laptops, I have my phone, she has a phone, she has a laptop. I've got all my smart devices, which I feature on this channel, my smart plugs, my smart switches, my smart TV, my NVIDIA Shield Android box. All of these devices are all connected to my router. And with the current way that routers work now, they connect and they communicate with each device individually. Of course, it's still very fast and it happens numerous times in a second. However, when you get everyone trying to do it at the same time, you do get lag spikes. And if there's a lot of information going through, that's why a lot of gamers, they say that you don't game or you don't online game on Wi-Fi because you get drops in connection, you get lag spikes. And it's really got to do with this sort of traffic going into your router, and your router has to handle everything, send everything out, but it sends it out individually to each device at a time. How does MU-MIMO change that? Now, MU-MIMO uses the same principle in terms of how it sends its packet of information. However, MU-MIMO allows you to connect with 8 simultaneous devices at a time, which is 8 times more than what it usually could. And you might be thinking, oh, but like I said, everyone has more than 8 devices connected to the internet at a time. And yes, that's true. And there are other things that Wi-Fi 6 will be introducing to help more efficiently handle that. But basically within MU-MIMO, what they do is that 8 devices is still a lot better than 1. So because of that, you get less bottlenecks, you get less lag spikes, and overall a much better experience. And the other thing, which also has a ridiculously long name, the short form is basically OFDMA, which stands for Orthogonal Frequency Division Multiple Access. Okay, so what is OFDMA? It basically, in layman's terms, it's kind of like MU-MIMO in a sense. It's got to do with sending packets of information. Now, like I mentioned before, when routers communicate, they usually communicate with one device at a time. And a lot of times that one packet only goes to that one device. Now, what OFDMA allows is that one packet to contain information to be sent to multiple devices at a time before it receives more information and sends it out again. Now, think of it as sort of like a courier service. Now, in Singapore, we have Ninja Van, and of course, we have like DHL and FedEx and all that. Now, think about it this way. If you had a courier van that could only go to one location, unload everything, and then come back, and then go to another location and deliver more items, and then come back again, and then go out and send, that's a lot less efficient than maybe cramming enough stuff for 4 locations so that you can send to all 4 and then come back. Okay, so if you didn't understand any of that, let me give you the analogy of a road or a highway, okay? So like the current standard of routers is sort of like a 2-lane highway. Maybe one going this way and one going in the opposite direction, all right? So you get one car at a time, or even maybe 2 lanes and 2 cars going at a time. If I were to just give a higher speed limit on the road, all right? Because the traffic is so heavy, you wouldn't be able to hit that speed limit anyway. So increasing the speed limit of that road is useless. So what MU-MIMO does, it gives you an additional 6 lanes or 7 lanes. So now each road has 8 lanes. So cars can actually travel much more efficiently on the road. And because they've got so much more space, they can all reach that top speed limit that is given on the road. So that covers the speed aspect of Wi-Fi 6. Now, what about the other things? Yes, there are other major benefits as well. One of them is something called target wait time. Now, that is also a major breakthrough. Now, a lot of Wi-Fi devices, or basically all Wi-Fi devices, how they work is that when they are connected to the internet or to your router, they are constantly communicating with that router, and your router is constantly communicating with that device to see if there's any information to send or receive. Now, that in itself is good in a sense that you never lose connection, but it also raises other issues. Number one, it's not very efficient in terms of the bandwidth of your router. So you have to keep everyone connected at the same time. It doesn't leave much space left, right? And the other thing is your device, your wireless device, because it has to keep communicating, it drains your battery. Or if you're plugged into a power source, it also consumes more power. So what target wait time does, it is communicates with all these other devices. It negotiates with the devices and decides on which devices it needs to constantly communicate with and which one it doesn't. And it can also decide on the time between that it won't connect to the device at all, and then when it goes back in again. So what that does is it allows the router to free up a lot more space and focus the bandwidth on other more network intensive activities like streaming on Netflix or like playing online games. So basically what you get is those devices that are consistently connected to the router, they don't get interrupted by other devices that don't really need to connect to the router but are always communicating with it. Okay, so that is fantastic, right? There seems to be so much benefits. Now, of course, is there a catch? Yes, there is. Now, with the same with every other new Wi-Fi standard that came before it, it requires a new router and it requires the wireless device to support it. And same here, all right? You will need a new router that supports Wi-Fi 6, and you will need whatever devices that you have now connected to the router to also be Wi-Fi 6 enabled. Now, does that mean that you got to throw away all your devices? No, of course not. Now, the same with all other Wi-Fi standards, it is also backwards compatible, which means that if you have a Wi-Fi 6 router, it would still accept connections from older devices or what we call legacy devices that can connect to only wireless N or wireless G or whatever, it will still work. But of course, you won't get the full features and benefits of Wi-Fi 6. So the big question here is, what devices have Wi-Fi 6? Now, you'll be surprised, you might already have it, right? Now, I will admit there aren't a lot of devices right now that support Wi-Fi 6 because it's still a relatively new standard. I'm not going to name all of them, but in terms of phones, there are not that many, and I'll list them here. So the name of the devices you're seeing here, these are already Wi-Fi 6 enabled. So all you have to do is just get a Wi-Fi 6 router and you're set. So some of you might be asking, look, what's a good Wi-Fi 6 router to get? What would I recommend? Now, just like there aren't that many Wi-Fi 6 enabled devices at the moment, there aren't that many Wi-Fi 6 routers as well, and there are going to be more, that's for sure. But does it mean that you want to wait? No, there are some really good routers right now and they're not like crazy expensive. The one that caught my eye after doing some research is the Asus TUF Gaming AX3000. Now, I was looking at the specs of it, and on paper, it looks like one of the most value Wi-Fi 6 router out there at the moment, but obviously I don't have that here, so I can't test it. So what I did was I took a chance and I contacted the guys over at Asus and I said, hey, I saw this router online. Is there any chance that you could send one over for me to test out and review? Well, they said yes. All right, so they're actually going to send it to me. So once I receive it, I'm going to do a full test, and yes, I will do a full review on this channel for you guys to see. So remember to subscribe so you can take a look at that review. Okay, so I hope this video makes Wi-Fi 6 at least a little bit easier to understand. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.